Sometimes it happens that way.
So it happened naturally.
Yeah, it
Yes.
happens naturally.
What? Because the thing is, for me, and I think I mentioned to the both of you that I was very thankful that you worked on the Captain Robert Smith paintings from 1767, because for me it has a very personal meaning, and I'm a huge lover of history. Every single day I wake up, that is all I do. That is literally my full-time thing. And I'm also aware of the debate, because I don't know if I want to get political, but let's just say there was a certain area of land that one side had claimed they had rightfully gained, while one side had said, no, you kicked us out, what are you doing? So there's this debate between two factions of intellectuals, and for me, I have always gravitated towards the local story, which was, yes, this was ours, you kicked us out, shame on you. And I didn't see that until I saw your finished work, when it was all cleaned. And then I was like, oh my God, this is 1767. And the thing is, because the paintings were so accurate, I mean, props to the long dead artiste, but I could recognize where that was today, and I was like, this is the land that was disputed. This is a Malay kampung. And when I was looking at your presentation as well, I noticed that there were other things that might not seem obviously important to the general public, but you have even celebrities. Like, I think you had Shah Rukh Khan as well. He had movie posters, and I didn't understand until you said, "Oh, back in the day, they didn't print it; they painted it."
They painted on the.
So the question that I have is how do you then? Because it's a huge responsibility. How do you decide whether to keep the original or to keep the item as an aged version of itself? How do you make that decision?
See, now as you're speaking about this film poster, so the film posters are they are done for public to view.
Normal publicity.
It is a normal publicity, so
putting on
the material they
on
use
some
is
wall.
very fragile.
They're commercial.
The
Commercial.
paper?
Yeah, paper is very
The
very thin.
paper is fragile.
Yeah.
It's a cheap paper because it's always used for advertising.
This is not idea for any preservation further. This is a present.
This is
the publicity.
They didn't. No.
No. That's all for
It's
publicity
now
for now.
people are actually going back and getting the old posters as a collectible. So now people are more into movie posters which were painted and then printed. It's the first copies of the printed version. So that
oleograph.
it's the oleographs.
Then offset. Then screen printing. That's like.
So people are now going into that, and
Before starting the digital printing.
it's not a digital printing.
This is the era before digital printing.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just realized what it meant in the context of human history. Wow, it goes way before everything we've known.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. Maybe our great grandfather or grandfather's time. But the interesting part also is then when you make that decision, was there at any point where you felt like you could have gone the other way, or in your profession you're like, you know what, like a doctor is I have to stay firm. If I make this cut, I have to make this cut.
No, it's not like that. Once we have a look at the artwork and we actually get to know the details, we observe the details first. It's the examination part of it. Then we both decide actually, and everybody, any conservator actually has a proposed treatment in mind, or sometimes they write it down, that what is the basic idea what we are going to do, and based on that we start our treatment. And sometimes it happens that this methodically
Sometimes we change also.
We change in between.
Yeah.
We think that this is not working.
Yeah.
We just change the sequence of it. It happens because not every artwork is the same as we are taught in the schools or the colleges. We have a typical treatment record, but not everything and every time that will be used for the same artwork. Sometimes it differs. So we act
Sometimes
accordingly.
object not react, even
Sometimes
painting not react.
yeah, sometimes
Really?
yeah.
Then what do you do then?
There's a action reaction.
So we just
Interact, just like
With an
without
artifact?
silent,
Yeah.
without the silent
What if it's
reaction.
an ancient thing and you're like, oh no, it's, you know,
It's a dialogue.
It's a dialogue.
Silent dialogue.
it's a dialogue.
Yes.
Okay, you're gonna have to explain that to me right now.
It's a dialogue,
Like
no?
this is not my profession specifically. That's why it's alien to me. So how does the dialogue work? Maybe you can give examples. Like was there an art piece that was like, you know, paint me?
Suppose it's a piano, so you will see the key, it's old, some stain are there, some wood or flake out. That means it's old, more than 50 years.
Oh wow.
But when we start, sometimes it happens when we start cleaning or when we start doing the solvent cleaning, which with the chemicals, our solvents don't work on
Don't
it.
work sometimes.
Sometimes the reactions are different.
Differ.
So we have to think about the different chemicals then in the list, or the method of the treatment, the cleaning methods. Like here we have used swab cleaning, the cotton swab. Sometimes you have to use gel methods,
Gel
which are
method.
now trending in conservation because it's the safest method also to use in the cleaning. So there are different methods of doing things which we actually have to decide once we have the object, and once we start doing the examination and getting into it, actually getting hands on into it.
Actually, two types of treatment. One safe for object, one safe for us. So we thinking about the safer for object.
Wow. You mean you think about the safety of the object more
Yes,
than
and
Yeah.
than we.
That is because
why?
Because we have only 90 years, no, life. The object has many years.
the object has actually come down so many
so
years.
many years, so many centuries.
Maybe
sometimes.
sometimes
Some century
200
also.
years, 300 years.
So you actually view things that way from a macro perspective, like I am just a point in history.
Yes.
This is an item that's going to live.
It-
Wow.
it
Just
has to
overall, we are just like helper to carry those and the past, future.
How do you
We are the
get
carrier.
to that point as
We
a
are the
human
carrier.
being? That
We are the carrier.
That is a almost existential nirvanic frame of mind. Like what happened to you guys? Okay, explain to me in your life, how did you come to that point? Because for me, even for me, as much as I love history, I'm very conscious about my own mortality.
No, because you only remember the painting, Captain Smith, Walla. You don't remember us. After we completion.
Well, I remember you.
No.
No,
It's a concept
generally,
because we carry
like
it.
now the painting has come 200 years, still
If
in
you
a
look in
good
the painting, you
condition.
will only think of the painting.
And now we have, as we have treated it, it will again last for 50-60 years again. If
Again.
nothing wrong happens, the
Or
climate
any
is good,
seepage, any climate, any disaster,
nothing happens
something,
to it, it will stay
last
back
forever.
more.
Yeah.
So it's the painting which is going to stay for the future generation. It's not us.
Not us.
We are just a helping hand to get it along for the future generation to see.
If you remember us,
Yeah.
then is the failure.
Oh, Mike. Okay, well, then I'll try to forget you. but then again, that goes into appreciation of history and culture. How important is it? Because right now, one of my main battles on the day to day is to convince the everyday person that history is important, and it's hard to do that when the world just came out of COVID. Everybody's struggling in the economy and struggling day to day. It's hard to make them think about the bigger picture when their day to day is so hard. How important is it? And this is also a personal question as well. How important is it for us, not just as a society, but as human beings? How important is it for us to remember the importance of history and the importance of what museums like right now, the Penang State Museum, the importance of what you two do in the long run? How important is it?
it's for us, it's extremely important as we look at it, because we if we look at history, it's where we have come from. It's our forefathers, or maybe before that, they have done something so that we are here. They have created something so that it, during that time, that was something extraordinary, maybe during that time, but now we feel it is very common. But it's because of them what we have reached a stage here, what we are doing. And for a future generation to look at that, to know that yes, this is what even we have come from. And it's completely important, because otherwise what are we going to look at, like in future? We will have nothing if we have no history.
So what happens when we lose it? What do you think?
If we lose our history, like
We will lose the track also.
we will be losing our track of being what we are right now, or
our
what we
base.
have come from. If we have nothing, if a museum, say somewhere there's war happening and the museum has been demolished due to something, and that era, that track has been completely
Washed out.
lost or washed out. So a future generation, when a child is growing big, what is he going to look at? He's going to look at only the present. And what is he going to learn in this present era? It's because of that history our mind goes there, and we are seeing this is something about, say, maybe a historical thing.
Yeah.
We just got to know that yes, our forefathers or before that, they were doing some things, like they were so creative.
And they developed techniques.
They have
To
developed
look beautiful and useful.
Yes.
So it goes beyond the material, and I love it how you framed it. It reminds us of where we came from, because, and I don't mean for my mind to drift off. It reminded me of when I was growing up in Hawaii. That's why I have a funny accent. Because my mom went to University of Hawaii to study linguistics there, and they were known for reviving a dead language. The Hawaiian language was dead, and then they managed to develop a method to reverse engineer it.
Right.
And I love history right now, especially Malaysian history or Southeast Asian history, or actually the Asian history. We're so connected. We've been trading since what, 500 BC, right? So for me, it was because I saw what it did to the Hawaiian people. You know, when Hawaii was annexed by the United States of America a long, long time ago through ill-gotten means, you know, they went on a full-on campaign to erase the past. If you were caught doing the hula, which is not a tourist attraction now, but back then, if you did the hula, you went to jail and you were killed. Penalty by death, you know. If you spoke Hawaiian, you were sent to jail and you were killed. Penalty by death, you know. Sacred land was turned into pineapple plantations, tea plantations. So what happened was, and mind you, Hawaii wasn't just a tribal country. This was a civilization. And what happened was, when they were annexed into the United States of America and their culture wiped, their people went from affluent, skilled, and intelligent to degenerate, derelict, and poor. So is that what you meant?
Yes.
Yes. Because every generation has to carry forward the cultural things and everything. We hand it out to the next generation.
So that's why you find the artifact more valuable than yourself.
Yes, of course.
That's really
We are a part of the history. We are not a history. We are a part of the history.
part of the history.
Like currently, like before coming to Penang, we were working in a museum where a Maratha ruler, Shivaji Maharaj, who actually fought against the Mughals to get back the Maratha land, and he's the main pioneer for setting up a Maratha empire.
Was he?
Yes,
Yes.
the whole of the India actually was under him during his reign. So he has passed down like 350 years before, and he had used some people
Small
say they
weapons,
have a
secret weapon.
we don't know
What
exactly.
the claw thing
Yes,
was.
yes,
Was it like-
yes,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Oh, that was
That's right.
so cool.
Yeah, and that is history, because if we are not looking at that small little object, we don't know what exactly the Maratha ruler has went through.
Yeah.
That small little object represents
The
him,
presence,
the presence of him.
please.
Like
It's
that
not a
was-
mythological story.
It is not a mythological story. It is a
It is a
real
fact.
story.
Existed.
Yeah, he
It's a
existed.
person.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the proof of his existence.
That is a proof of existence, and that small little
And
object.
that's why it was important.
Yes.
That is why
That's
it is
important.
Because he was just a story.
That's the story.
Oh my god.
And not every Indian can go to London to see that little artwork or that piece of weapon which he had used. But now, as it is in India, there are people lining up for that in the museum,
Those are
and
and even money. They can see easily.
they can see it and
They don't
they
need to
bow to
travel
it.
abroad
We
to
we
take a
have seen
flight and
people
spend the
just
money.
bowing to it,
Yeah.
going flat on that case and praying to that, because that is the history of Marathas. And from that little weapon, people have actually
as a proud feeling.
Wow.
Yeah, just
made them
ancestor.
proud.
See, the thing is, for me, I didn't understand it at the time, and I'm so glad that we did this podcast because I did not understand at the time of the workshop and your presentation the significant. For me, it was just like, wow, that is an amazing artifact. But for the both of you, it means so much more because it's a connection.
It's a connection.
It's the connection. It's where we are from. If we look
Oh,
at
yeah,
it,
of
yeah,
course. Yeah, no,
it's,
that's what I meant.
it's where we have come from.
We call them. We have
Yeah.
some ancestor to follow the.
We
things
don't
and
know actually.
thoughts.
We
Yeah.
only know our grandfathers were
Till-
till the
Three or four generations
Generation.
maximum.
I'm so glad that you mentioned it this way because, see, for me, that is the main reason why I fight for preservation of history every single day is because, oh, I don't know if I want this unedited, but let's just go for it. All right, cool. So, in essence, for me, I've always felt like my people had suffered a great loss of identity due to the I don't hate the. Yeah, yeah.